I'm getting real reception teacher vibes from this cardigan and like half updo combo today. Miss Honey chic, that's what we'll call it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How's it going? Hope all is well. I feel the same way like turning this camera on as I do when I give my mum a ring at the moment, or when I speak to my friends from home, or like when I'm having a catch up with someone and you ring them and you're really excited to have a chat with them to find out what they've been doing, and then neither of you have anything to say to each other because nothing is happening. So you sort of sit on the phone with each other just like desperately grasping for something to tell them, like you've had an existence for the past 9 months, but really, has it even happened? Anyway, existential crisis aside, good morning. Although it feels like life has been one kind of empty ebb and flow recently, I have actually been quite busy. Most of my time recently has been going into Gold Dust Road, which is my new little business venture, my little baby. I love it very much. I don't like to talk about it too much on here because I feel like it's a bit of a separate thing all of its own. I kind of want it to be separate from YouTube, but that has been kind of taking up most of my time recently because Christmas is coming up. Look, I've got the mug to prove it. Meet me under the mistletoe, my friends. And obviously for like a little small wholesome business with little bits and bobs, it should technically probably be the busiest time of the year. Fingers crossed. I've no idea what I'm doing. We'll see what happens. So pretty much all of my kind of like thoughts and time and energy I've been putting into that because I'm really nurturing it and I'm really enjoying having a new little project. But it was like a little kind of aim that I had in my head that before I brought in like new stock for Christmas, I needed to get that office sorted. Hoo-wee! Did I need to get that office sorted? Lo and behold, by some kind of miracle, I drudged up the dregs of my motivation and energy, which have long disappeared this year, and I actually started a little mini office makeover, which I'm so pleased with myself for. When we first moved in, the excitement of being in this house was like enough motivation in itself to keep us really driven with keeping on and on and on with updating the house basically and really turning it into our own space. We got the living room done, we got the bedroom done, got a lot of like little finicky jobs done. The roof was the big priority, we crossed that one off the list. But it's been quite interesting because I think as we've spent more and more time in the house, obviously with lockdown and lockdown 2.0, whoop whoop, I think it's really kind of like dividing people into two categories of humans. So number one, we've got the category of human who are noticing everything around them that needs doing and instantly doing it, and in the space of lockdown have managed to basically live a long episode of changing rooms. Or there's the second category of humans, which Adam and I definitely fall into, who have just got so used to their surroundings from being inside all the time. Things that used to bother us when we were in and out all the time and spending time away from home and coming back to it, the things that used to bother us and used to be a priority, we've got almost too used to, and it's stopped us keeping the ball rolling. So yeah, I had a big burst of motivation. Oh, just like that actually. And I have officially started the office makeover. So that's what I thought I would show you today. Thought we'd have a cozy, chilled out little chat about the spare room. Yeah, because I say office, but it's actually a space that's got to function as a lot of different things. So obviously in normal life it had to exist as like my office because I work from home anyway, so it had to be like a nice office space. It also now has to function unexpectedly as like a small shop space if that's something that I want to keep doing, which I'm really enjoying it, so I'm going to keep rolling with it. And obviously it is our second bedroom, which was kind of like the main point of it really, so that one day when we're allowed to again we can have guests to stay. So it also kind of needs to function as like a spare room kind of space. So it's a room of many purposes, a room of many colours, my coat of many colours, Joseph. But in the end I was doing my own head in, classic me, I was doing my own head in so much, and in the end I was just like, right, we're going to IKEA, let's get this sorted, I'm ordering some paint, let's do it. And it's so weird, isn't it, when those moments hit you and you're like, why have I been putting this off for 6 months? I just needed that like jolt of lightning to the brain and now it's happening. Why was I putting this off for such a long time? So I'm going to show you it. I'm going to show you all my hard work. I'm going to take the credit for this one. Adam did maybe an hour's painting. I did about 3 days work on this room. I didn't film the process of doing it because honestly, It was such hard work that I was literally, it's literally the most I've moved since maybe February. It was such hard work. There was so much crap in there. So much crap. All the stuff that, like, when we moved, I was like, oh, this definitely needs to come, this definitely needs to come. And then looking at it all now, I'm like, why? So there was a lot of stuff in there. The painting was really hard work because the paint that it had previously was shocking, literally awful. The walls are still terrible quality in there, to be honest. Some of them were literally like crumbling off. We definitely should get them done. Que sera, sera. My crumbly walls will be maybe one day, probably not. And I think I'll mention this now as well. Actually, I was just going to mention it when I showed you the bits and bobs that I picked up, but I feel like you might want to go and have a browse. So part of this video is very kindly sponsored by Fi, who are one of my favourite homeware websites. Our living room is decked out in Fi, you might remember from last time. So I've got a couple of bits from Fi to show you in the office space as well. But most importantly, I've got a 25% off link for them. So if you are in the market for any kind of like home bits and bobs, if you can do your Christmas shopping and you want to get some nice, cozy, homey bits, it is one of my favourite homeware websites to shop on because it's almost like a bit of a marketplace almost, and it brings together loads of different like smaller, more independent kind of designers and brands. So it's a really good way of like shopping indie. It's a really nice kind of catalogue of loads of different smaller brands that you might not find otherwise, like unusual, unique, kind of quirky designs on there. That reminds me actually of when I went looking around flats when me and Adam were going to first move in together, and when we found the flat that we did move into, the estate agent that took me around to see that one, she was like, I just think it suits you so well because you're just a bit quirky, aren't you? I just get the vibe that you're a bit quirky, and I just think this place is so quirky. On reflection, I'm not sure whether that was a compliment or not, but it was a great flat, so I'm going to take it as one. Right, should we go and have a look at this office? I'm really excited to show you it. I think it is quite a transformation, actually. The memories of it are like a long distance separate lifetime, but it happened. It was quite bad, let me tell you. So I think, you know, for like full dramatic effect, and so that I get the full appreciation for how hard I've worked on this room, I'm going to insert some before clips, which I very sneakily remember to film before I began the transformation, just so that we can remember and reflect on the chaos that was this room. It literally looked like the last 5 years of my life had thrown up into 4 walls. And that's what it was, amongst some lovely creamy, yellowy, slightly smoke-stained paint, which is always really nice. We love magnolia. There was days when you couldn't find the floor because there was so much junk in here. There was days when you couldn't walk from one wall to the other because there was too much stuff in your way. It wasn't an office. It wasn't a spare room. It was a jumble sale, a charity shop in my own home. But without further ado, drum roll please. New paint. On reflection, this might be slightly anticlimactic. So as you walk in, this is now the wall on the left-hand side of this room. We went for, as you can tell, there's still quite a lot of rubbish dotted around. Well, I'll get there eventually. And by our standards, this is actually pretty muted. If you compare it to the peach wall in the bedroom, this one is pretty calm and sophisticated, but I'm a really, really big fan of this colour. I debated for ages about whether this was the right thing to do because I had this like vision in my mind of this room. Let me set the scene for you. I had visions in my mind of this room being like very calm, very kind of neutral, a little bit kind of like deserty, westerny, like a lot of wood. I'm gonna bring a lot of plants in here. But then when I thought about it, I was like, is a brown wall nice? In reality, is a biscuit wall, on paper, a biscuit wall, the phrase itself sounds truly delicious. Put onto a wall, is that something that I want in my life? And I really ummed and ahed about it, but in the end I thought, it's paint, I'll just paint over it if I hate it. This colour that we went for in the end is called Toffee Coffee, which is by Valspar. Picked that up in B&Q, and it is exactly what I want. It took me ages to decide between a load of like biscuity coffee colours. On the floor in here we have these like very old, slightly tattered and worn original floorboards, but I think they work together quite nicely actually, all the kind of different neutral tones. This is one of the things that I was really excited to show you let me talk about this. So I found this amazing circle mirror. This is from Fi. This is one of the things that I picked up from Fi. And as soon as I saw this on the website, I was like, that is perfect for the spare room, because not only is it like a gorgeous circle mirror, which always look amazing anyway, it's got this really nice kind of like warm toned like trim to it, which actually almost matches the wall pretty perfectly. But the thing I loved about this is that it's got like a tint, a warm toned ambery glass in it, which I just love. I've never seen a mirror like that before, and I just thought it was so unusual and perfect for this kind of like neutral toned room that we're going to have. So this is one of my favourite purchases that we've actually made for the whole house. I think it's so unusual. The other really lovely bits that I've picked up from Fi include, let me show you. Oh, I love this so much. I feel like this is very me. This lovely little star-shaped cushion in this gorgeous like amber kind of colour. It's also velvet, and rather than being like a cushion, it's full of beans, so it's like a little bean bag, and it doubles up as like an extra little floor cushion for if you're like hanging out in the living room with friends, family, whatever, one day. I mean, this isn't being used by anyone other than the cat right now. This will be like a lovely little extra floor cushion that we can move around. But I thought, again, this was a really lovely tone to have in here. It's almost like a clash of different like warm colours, which I really like, that kind of like western-y feel of colours. Delicious. So this is beautiful quality. I've been popping that on my office chair. It has a little burst of colour. And then the other thing that I got from Fi as well, I think loads of you are going to be very interested in these. So obviously everyone is all about the dried flower life right now. So I also picked up 2 little selections of dried flowers. They look a bit mad. Let me show you properly. See how nice do these look against that colour? I'm gonna have to get like a little stand or something to pop these on. But I went for this really nice, oh, it's almost like a greyish kind of colour in pampas grass, and then these amazing dried, I mean, what even are they? I have absolutely no idea, but they're really, really cool, really pretty. Dried flowers can get super expensive, but the ones on Fi, these were 2 separate bunches, but they were under £20, and I think they're a great little purchase. I know, pampas grass, it's a thing. Adam had some in the background, so we've got like a big bunch of it in the living room downstairs, and Adam does his like Zoom business calls in there, and he had one the other day, and like the pampas grass was in shot, and apparently someone on his business call was like, oh Adam, pampas grass, hey? For anyone who doesn't know, apparently it's what swingers used to have to show that they were swingers. I think it's now just a sign that someone's been looking on Pinterest for ideas of how to make their home look nice. Oh, how times change, hey? From swinging to Pinterest. Yeah, so they're my lovely little dried flowers, which I'm absolutely chuffed with. I really, really love those. I think they're a perfect little finishing touch for in here. I'm going to show you the rest of the room now, but just a reminder that there will be a link in the description box if you fancy having a browse through there, which will get you 25% off on Fi. Okay, I'm going to spin you around now from the amazing mirror and our little fireplace, which I'm not entirely sure what to do with. There we go, you can see the definition a little bit better there. There is like a little space down there, but it's not like deep enough to do anything with really. So I'm not too sure what to do with this. If anybody has any ideas, I'm guessing maybe some kind of fairy lights or something. Spin around here, and this is where my desk used to be, but we've now completely cleared this like middle section of the room, which has just opened it up. I'm gonna knock the brightness up a bit so you can see properly, but hopefully now you'll be able to see like how much fresher and cleaner and prettier it looks in here. I would love to update this radiator with something slightly more modern. But again, that's just one of those jobs that I'm like, I don't know anything about radiators. I'm not grown up enough to replace a radiator. What? That's not me. You must have me confused with someone who's nearly 30 and owns their own home. I'm 17. Hoping to put some more nice little kind of touches in here when it's set up a bit better, but a lovely little mirror and this really cool little tortoiseshell lamp, which I bought maybe 2 months after we moved into this house because I had a vision for this room, and I'm excited that I can finally plug this in and turn it into the lamp I always wanted. Do need to get a bulb for it though. And then spinning round, you might have noticed I've got a new little desk corner over here. So obviously this was against this long wall here, but I thought it would be nicer. Originally I had it here because it's nice looking out the window. We get a really cool view of London outside this window. I had this great vision of me like at 6 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee, looking out onto the London skyline and writing a wonderful novel that would go on to win multiple prizes and become a bestseller. In reality, that hasn't quite worked out. And also, I'm always just looking at my laptop anyway, so that idea of sitting in front of a window, turns out it doesn't really matter. I've still got a lot I want to do to this bit. As you can see, it's still kind of slightly chaotic, which is a good representation of my brain, to be honest. So I've got my classic desk, which I love and I feel like I will probably have forever, and the little matching desk chair that goes with it. This is all pens, paintbrushes, a million trillion notepads and notes and cups, and old paint water. Don't get the two mixed up. My diary, my rainbow pens. I always get loads of questions about these, so I'll try and remember to link them down below. And then just like a couple of little dishes and candles and stuff. And I've also now got my laptop set up on this little kind of like raised desk. That was from IKEA. I was getting like really achy, like all along the top of my back and like in my neck, which sounds so horrible, but I was literally walking around like lurch. But my friend Jenny said that if you raise your laptop up, that should help. So I've done that, and hopefully I will no longer feel like Quasimodo. The two new main additions for this kind of area here are this little shelving unit, which I got to pop on my printer and my scanner and my label printer. I wish I'd bought one more shelf actually, but in the end it worked out quite well because I've just shoved a basket full of electricals. Because this needs organising. This is just like cables of the lost ark, basically. I don't even really know what's in there, but I like having all this stuff like set up and ready to use. It was just on the floor before, so I'm so glad that it's finally like on a proper shelf. And then on the top here right now, this is the like ultimate arsehole shelf. Basically there's my YouTube plaque and an award that I won once as the best lifestyle vlogger. This was for the Northern Blog Awards of 2018, and I like to keep them there as a reminder that once I was good at my job. This is really cool actually. There was like a built-in drawer option for these shelves, so I thought that was quite handy. I've put like papers and envelopes and stuff in there. And the other new addition is this awesome like multi-purpose board that I picked up from IKEA. You get all different like fixtures for it, so there's these little drawers, so I can keep all little handy bits and bobs in there. These are the little labels that I iron into my grocery bags that I sell on Goldust Road. But there's also like all cool little things like this. So this is my little tape rack. I've got like little holders here. My scissors can hang. My little lucky cat. There was little pegs available. I might get a couple more of these actually because these are nice to hang. Oh, this is actually a little sneaky peek. These might be on sale now. I don't know. This is one of the Christmas cards that I'm doing. Yeah, this is pretty genius actually. I'm really, really pleased with this. You basically build your own perfect little memo board system if you've got loads of little crafty bits and bobs lying around. The only thing is, you might have noticed, this bad boy is sitting to the left of me, and I have no idea what to do with this. I'm actually thinking about doing a video soon about like, I don't know how many there'll be, but maybe like 10 mistakes that we made buying our first house. I don't know whether, I feel like that might be quite useful maybe, and it'll be like a really honest video about stuff that we got wrong. One of the things was that I willy-nilly bought quite a lot of big bits of furniture for this house, particularly for this room because we had no idea what to do with it. I just bought storage like as and when we needed it without thinking about like a future idea of what this room might be. One example of that is this locker, which is actually pretty useful, but the other example of this is this bookshelf, which I absolutely love and it's so beautiful, and I do actually think it suits this room quite nicely, but it doesn't really have a place that it fits right now. But you'll just have to envision that one day this shelf will look very nice somewhere that it's supposed to be. Around to this side of the room, we've got Mickey and a Niffler sitting up there. I'm gonna have very nice drapey plants up there at some point. This cupboard in here has actually become a really handy storage cupboard. I'm really going to do a Monica moment here where I show you that actually it's completely full of total nonsense. This was originally, when we moved in, just like a laundry storage cupboard. There were shelves all the way across here, but one of the big jobs that we've done for this house is move the boiler up from the kitchen down below up into here so that it could tuck away nicely and open up the kitchen a bit more. For now, it's just a very handy close that and pretend it doesn't exist kind of cupboard. One of the next jobs I want to do is change like the hardware in here because it's all silver or plastic and I'd like to get some nicer bits. The main part of this room now, oh wow, so many things, so much stuff. So I feel like on camera this is gonna look absolutely crazy, but actually because we've opened up the room so much more, this doesn't feel invasive or crazy or chaotic. It actually feels like it tucks quite nicely into the side of the room. So basically I needed a storage system for the stock that I now have for the shop. It was taking up a lot of room in like huge boxes. It was dotted all over the house. It wasn't helpful to me. It was really time consuming and everything was such a mess. So I needed a space for it all. These big basic shelves were from IKEA. They were really easy to build. You basically just banged it all together. So I've managed to find a little space for my pins. This is my favorite one. This is the Cindy pin. But yeah, they're all like stored nicely now. These are the frames ready for Christmas. This is the Haribo that I put in every package. Got stickers here. I've got little postcards that go in. These are the notes that I write. Got new keyring stock for Christmas. This is the tissue paper for gift wrapping. I love these little boxes actually, these little basket boxes. They're really handy because they hide everything away, but they still look really nice. And like there's nothing crazy and messy in there. Got a new little stock of my t-shirts, which I'm excited to launch. Oh, this is a sneaky peek too. This is a sample that came through. Christmas cards. You got a little look at these earlier. I'm really pleased with those actually. These might be my favourite thing I've ever made. I want to make this look a little bit nicer, but basically I needed somewhere to put like my art books and my craft books. Got a few different titles for like modern calligraphy and hand lettering. A couple of really inspiring books. This is just like sketch pads and drawing pads and stuff. Gotta be your own biggest fan, right? This basket, I mean, I'm slightly ashamed to show you this. This is just crafting materials. It's quite embarrassing. We'll just close that. Top shelf, I've just popped a couple of prints, a couple of little special bits. This was a present from my brother. I've got my fairy godmother, Funko, standing up top here, watching over things. But yeah, that's my little shop storage system for now. It still looks pretty crazy to be honest, but at least I know where everything is now. It all has a home. It's much neater than all being in separate boxes like scattered all over the floor. That's kind of how it looks when you first walk in, which isn't too bad, not too crazy. I've also got these handy little hooks on the edge of the shelf here. And my pin collection, which is getting slightly out of hand actually. I probably need to get a pin board or something for these. And what more could a grown-up sensible office need than a novelty hat collection? Train driver hat, #1. Or, if that doesn't please you, you could go for the disco festival hat. The party hat. The hat that will make you friends. Still not up your street? Why not try the cow print cowboy hat? Why I own this? I'm not sure. I think this came from one of my Pretty Little Thing videos. Those were the days. For a girl who never wears hats, I sure do own a lot of hats. Not sure how this turned into a hat try on, but that's my office update. I might leave you here actually to sign off. You're currently on top of my craft basket, my secret shame. It looks very nice when the lid's on though, so I'll never tell. So I hope you enjoyed having a little wander around the updated spare room. It's an office. It will be, oh I forgot to say actually, so obviously we want this to be like a guest space as well, like if my mum comes to stay or if my friends from home come to stay. We've ordered a sofa bed which is going to slot really nicely into there. It's going to be navy blue velvet and it looks like it's going to be really nice, so we shall see. I think that is coming on Sunday. We've got a lot of like warm tones, peachy, mustardy, warm orangey kind of colours, and obviously that kind of echoes through this room, but I thought the blue would be like a nice cool contrast that's still going to be quite bright hopefully and brighten the space up too. So that is the latest little house update. I quite like doing these just like every so often to let you know how we've been getting on. Obviously we haven't undertaken anything like massive yet, like the new bathroom and stuff. We are basically just saving up for it. It's not cheap. Thanks so much for having a catch up with me, hanging out with me today. And I hope you love the new little bits from Fi as well. My lovely dried flowers, my little star cushion, and that amazing statement mirror. If you want to have a little look on Fi, if you're after some new homeware, if you want to do some kind of homeware Christmas shopping, now is the time because I've got a 25% off link in the description box. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well. Hope you are taking loads of care of yourself, taking it easy, looking after yourself, and staying safe. And on that note, I think I will see you guys very soon with another video. Ta! Bye guys, love ya, see you soon. Ta! Bye.